to my channel. Today I've got for you a video that is literally 12 months in the making. I've got for you a year of makeup empties, so every single makeup product that I finished up over 2021, I gathered up, I held on to it, and now here we are. There are quite a lot of them, and here they all are in a nice neat little basket. So if you really want to see why my opinions are, just keep watching. So let's start off with a firm classic. This is the Rimmel Stay Matte Powder. I mean, who doesn't love this powder? This is just old school classic Rimmel. The packaging is dreadful and it cracks, and actually I'm quite impressed that this one is in like almost perfect condition. I guess it's a sign that I didn't leave my house last year, like pretty much at all. This is not a powder to go travelling with, but it is a really, really good powder, and it's like under a £5. Speaking of packaging, a powder that does have really good packaging, and I use quite a lot for travelling, is the Soap & Glory One Heck of a Blot powder. Another proper old school powder. I think this is my second one of these. It has like a significantly better compact to it, but I think I prefer the Rimmel powder, but this one is actually not too dissimilar. And yeah, I really loved this for kind of touching up on the go. Why not get the powders out of the way? So next up we have the Revlon Candid Anti-Pollution Setting Powder. Not really sure how you can prove this is anti-pollution, but as a setting powder, it was fine. Like, it wasn't like dreadful by any means, shape or form, but I wouldn't buy it again. I was not impressed enough about it to go and buy it. And then the last powder is the Revlon Colour Stay in the shade Light. This is more one of those kind of things that's like halfway between a powder and a foundation. And I really enjoyed this for setting down spot concealing. So you put your concealer on your spot, then you set it down with this, and it gives a little bit of extra coverage, but it obviously sets everything down. I loved this for that, and for that reason I probably would repurchase. Let's go foundations. So I finished up the Dior Backstage Face and Body Foundation. I loved this stuff so much. It has the most beautiful finish. It's really, really buildable. This is the shade 1W, which is too dark for me, but I really want to get the shade lighter, and I love this. Totally worth the money, and also it lasts like a suspicious amount of time. This product just like never ends. A firm favourite, I think this is my second or third bottle of this. This is the Max Factor Face Affinity All Day Flawless 3-in-1 foundation. Get mine in the shade 40 Light Ivory. It's the perfect colour match. It is kind of similar-ish to the Dior one in the fact that it has this really kind of natural finish. It's really buildable, really long wearing, and I just love this stuff so much. Would repurchase, have repurchased, love it. Got the L'Oreal True Match Nude Plumping Tinted Serum. I think this has got the nicest finish of all the foundations. It kind of eaves more on the kind of more hydrating and glowy side of foundations without looking glittery. Coverage is not the best. It is more of a kind of light to medium coverage, but if you just want a little bit of help perfecting everything out, this is a really lovely like foundation for that. The only downside with this is it comes in a glass bottle with like a pipette applicator, and so you struggle to get the bottom, I don't know, 10th of the bottle out, but I mean it's like a tenner and it is really, really lovely. I've finished the MAC Studio Fix Fluid. So mine's in the shade NW10, which is pretty much the perfect colour match for me. This is one of those foundations that I like and I would repurchase, and I have repurchased it. I wouldn't say it is a firm favourite, and I would definitely say I prefer the Max Factor, I prefer my NARS foundation, I prefer the Dior one. Like, there are foundations out there that are significantly better, but it is like a good foundation. And then last but least, this is the Collection Primed and Ready Anti-Blemish BB Cream. So obviously BB creams don't have as much coverage, and obviously this doesn't have as much coverage as the other products I've mentioned, but it also just feels heavier, it feels thicker, and I was not a huge fan of it. Like, it's quite a nice BB creams as BB creams go, but I find them actually quite heavy, and so for that reason I wouldn't repurchase. Finished a couple of primers. So I finished the NYX Honey Dew Me Up primer. Love this so much. It has a really beautiful finish to it. It's a really unique texture in the fact that it feels a little bit like honey but without being sticky. I love this. I would 100% repurchase, and there is something about applying a primer with a little paddle stick that's just weirdly satisfying. And then two primers that I did not hate by any means, but I don't think I'd repurchase. One is the Sleek Mattifying Primer, and one is the e.l.f. Mineral Infused Face Primer. Neither are bad, and neither I have bad things necessarily to say about. I just finished them up because I had them, as opposed to finished them up because I loved them. It feels like concealer is the category I have the most of. I have the Collection Lasting Perfection in the old packaging and shade range and the new packaging and shade range. These are great, classic, high coverage concealers. They can a little bit on the cakey side if you're not careful, but they are like solid concealers considering they're like £4.19 or whatever price they are these days. I think there's a reason why they're still around. I also finished a Revolution Conceal and Define Concealer, which I think is remarkably similar to the Collection one. It's a little bit thinner and so it doesn't get quite so cakey, but it's still high coverage, it's still super affordable, it's long lasting, like a solid cheap option. And then the last one that is a good cheap option, but I have a concealer in here that I prefer, is the e.l.f. 16 Hour Camo Concealer. Another like cheap alternative. This is also too light for me. It was the other concealer I mixed in with my Dior to make it work. I never really used it purely as a concealer, so I feel like my opinion of it is not completely well formed, but good concealer. And then the two that I finished are that I love and would repurchase and have repurchased are both from L'Oreal. So one is the L'Oreal Infallible More Than Concealer. This is the best. It has the nicest finish. It's really easy to blend, good coverage, great shade range. Just love it. Absolutely love it. Also, it's a huge tube and it lasts forever. And then the L'Oreal Infallible 24 Hour Concealer Pomade. This has actually got me fascinated with pomade concealers. I really want to try the NARS one and I really want to try the Glossier one, but I also kind of want this back as well. So let's go on to the one kind of coloured powder, if that's an expression, but I finished up this year. So I finished up the entire Smashbox contour palette. So this is proper old school. I bought this on a flight back from Turkey, so I've had this a really long time. It is well and truly finished. I used the highlight shade as powder because it wasn't highlighting at all, and then I would often mix the bronzer and the contour shade together, and like, considering how old this is, I think it really stands up to kind of modern day bronzers. It is really lovely. I think I wouldn't not repurchase it, but I kind of feel like because I had it for so long and because I used it so often, I kind of don't want to have it anymore and I kind of want to try other things, but it is a really good bronzer. Mascaras. So I finished, as you would expect, plenty of mascaras this year. Quite a lot of them like mini travel sizes and 3 of them full sizes. So I've got 2 that I would say are favourites, and then I've got a chunk that I just kind of used up. The Anika the Mascara, the It Superhero Mascara, and the Laura Mercier Caviar Volume Mascara. Can't tell you why neither of these mascaras left me with any lasting impression. Like, I remember them not being bad, but I don't remember particularly liking any of them. I finished up the Tarte Lights Camera Lashes Mascara, which is such a good defining, lengthening mascara. Terrible at volume. I find it a really nice mascara for kind of day-to-day, light, fresh makeup. And then I had both the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara and the L'Oreal Lash Paradise. Remarkably similar. I prefer the L'Oreal one because it's cheaper, but they're pretty much identical mascaras. So this is more like volume, it's more clumpy, it's more thick, it's more black, it's more intense. It's one of those kind of like old school mascaras. I would repurchase the L'Oreal one. I do have a full-size Le Better Than Sex mascara from a beauty box, but the L'Oreal one would be the one I'd choose to buy. The favourite mascara of the year, the mascara that I think would be in my yearly favourites if I was to make one, haven't decided if I'm going to, is the Maybelline Lash Sensational Sky High Mascara. So I love the Lash Sensational one. The original Lash Sensational is perfect, brilliant. This is basically the straighter brushed version. So the Lash Sensational has a kind of curved brush. This is more straight, and because it's more straight, I feel like this is more buildable. This can give you kind of proper thick, like, lashes, but it can also be natural depending what your mood is. This is brilliant, love it, would repurchase. I have the normal Lash Sensational on the go at the moment. It is just the best mascara range ever. Brows. So I have finished 5 of the same brow pencils. This is the Max Factor Brow Shaper. As I said, I finished 5 of them, partly because they are brilliant. I love them. Perfect shade match, really fine, really easy to work with, pigmented, but because they're so fine, you go through them so quickly, which is part of the reason why I finished up so many of them. I then went on a kind of journey to see if I could find ones that lasted longer, which landed me on the Maybelline Brow Ultra Slim. I'm also using up a Rimmel one, I'm pretty sure, but I think these ones are better, and also you go through these ones just as quickly. Loads and loads of Ultra Slim brow pencils. And then on the brow kind of gel front, I finished up 3 polar opposite brow gels. So finished up a Revolution one, which is basically like running water through your eyebrows. I finished up the Benefit Gimme Brow, which we all know is an old school classic brow gel. So it sets your brows down, but it kind of sets your brows down in their kind of natural way that they sit. It just kind of makes them look a bit tidier. Gives it kind of like a 3D kind of look to it. It's a really lovely brow gel and would definitely repurchase this. But my favourite brow gel of the year, and one that I want to get my hands on so badly, I'm just kind of working my way through things, it is the Refi Brow Gel. This is the best thing ever. If you like fluffy brows, we want them to be like all fluffed up and like almost sit kind of not unnaturally, but you want your brows to sit in a place that they don't naturally sit in and stay there. This is your product. I'm obsessed with it. It has quite a big brush tip to it. It's probably my only gripe with it. I feel like the brush tip could be 2/3 the length and then it'd be perfect. But it has staying power like nothing I've ever tried. Eyeliner. I finished up an eyeliner. This is the NYX Vivid Brights eyeliner in the shade Vivid Fire. How I finished up a bright red eyeliner, I'm not 100% sure. I wear coloured eyeliner pretty much solidly from middle of May to like the beginning of August. I love red eyeliner, blue eyeliner, yellow, purple, like I love it. And NYX, 1000% do the best ones. I think this range from NYX has been discontinued, but they have a few others out there which are equally beautiful. It has a brush tip applicator, which takes a little bit of getting used to, but once you are used to it, really easy to use. A couple of lip options. So I finished up the Gosh Liquid Matte Lips in the shade Bury Me. I'm not a massive fan of this lipstick formula, and I mainly finished this up by mixing in with other lipsticks because it's really thick and really sticky, and for that reason I would not repurchase, but this colour is beautiful. Finished up the Rimmel Exaggerates Lip Liner in the shade East End Snob. This is a classic. This is like proper old school Zoella age makeup. Is it the best? No, it's actually quite drying and it gets like kind of thick really quickly, but it's long wearing and it's retractable, so it's easy to use. It's really cheap, it's really easy to get your hands on it, but it's definitely not the best lip liner. And then I finished up 2 MAC lipsticks. So we've got the shade Ruby Woo, which is a classic red, and the shade Velvet Teddy, which is like an old school, like retro brown nudie colour. Yeah, I'm not sure I'd repurchase these shades, not because they're not beautiful, but just because MAC have so many shades, I kind of want to try out other things first. And then the very, very last thing is a Barry M Jelly High Shine Nail Paint in, I think it's Acai Smoothie, but the shade name has completely rubbed off. I find nail polishes chip, and so for that reason I kind of have stopped buying them so much, but these ones are beautiful. They have such like a thick glossy finish to them. They do chip, but to me all nail polishes chip, so I think that's just a me problem, but this is a classic. And there you have it, every single makeup product that I finished up over the last 12 months. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope you've enjoyed seeing all the things I've used up and my opinions on them. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please click subscribe and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!